Welcome back, guys, to the YouTube channel. I really appreciate you hopping on. Today, I have Ammar, who is huge within our AST community. I've seen him grow from a boy to a man in sales. And throughout the time, he's done a lot of different things. He's also a large part of our community when it comes to the book club right now. And yeah, Ammar, I really appreciate you hopping on. He's going to share his entire story from before AST to making the decision to join, what he did during it, because not many people fully envelop themselves within the community and fully envelop themselves in the challenges that we set for them. And I would love to learn from his perspective what he got out of those as well. So I'm really looking forward to this kind of podcast style interview today. And Ammar, appreciate you hopping in. I think the best way for you to introduce yourself is, hey, if I'd met you on the side of the road, who is Ammar? What does he do?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for having me. I literally woke up like 30 minutes ago, had a late night. Warren gives me a quick cuddle, says, you know what, you want to do an interview? I was like, you know what? I have nothing better to do. Let's do it. So I hopped on here. A little bit about me. I've been in sales for the past 4 years now. Started off door to door. Did that for about 2 years. And then after that, I did a little bit of like B2C HVAC, which like you sell heaters, ACs, things like that. And then I joined AST. The reason why I ended up joining AST was when I was working for that HVAC company, that's what we call it. Full transparency, I was let go. Reason being was I just didn't align. What they were doing just didn't align with what I was looking for. And when I just don't have conviction in something, when I don't believe in a product, I just can't sell it. I don't feel good about selling it because I know it's not going to truly help people. That's like the number one I think I look for, especially in sales when I'm, offering a product or service. Is it actually going to change someone's life? Is it actually going to help someone? And I didn't feel that there after what I found out about, like, what they were doing and stuff like that. So I eventually let go because I just wasn't selling. Um, and then it's a funny story because I was in AST end of last year. I ended up, leaving the community because I picked up this HVAC job. And, you know, when it was coming up to the time where I was about to be let go, because you can tell when you're about to be let go. Warren had messaged me, and it's crazy because we talk about in sales like following up with the prospect over and over and over again. I believe it's like the seventh or eighth time Warren messaged me. I was like, you know what? I was gonna go to remote sales, and then I got sidetracked. Let me just go all in this time. I joined AST, and I never looked back. Right? It's become such like a huge part of my life. Um, in the past like 4 years of selling, it was just like pressure selling, like storytelling and stuff like that. But when I actually joined AST, like I learned things like consultative selling, gap selling, and just like the overall like framework. And I realized that sales is so much more than just like telling someone buy this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if there's no reason for them to buy it, it's like, why would you ever sell to that type of individual? I had somebody yesterday turn around to me and say, "Hey, the best way I've ever built relationships, remember building relationships opposed to just selling to people, because when you sell to people, sure you get the cash once, but you'll not get the cash again. When
Yeah.
you actually just build a relationship and help somebody, that will be fruitful forever because you'll still have access to their network. They'll not have a foul taste in their mouth when it comes to thinking about you, or when your name's mentioned. They're not thinking, oh, that's that guy that sold to me once and we didn't speak again. What was that like for you in like door to door, getting into that pressure selling? Like, walk me through. Like, it sounds like there's like nearly a sense of, I don't want to say guilt, but like walk me through like the door to door days and then switching across.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it was more so guilt. It was just more so like I had a very 2D frame when it came to selling. It was just like with door to door, I'd show up to the door, make some sort of story up, like, hey, I really like your car. I love what you did with the garden bed there. And just go straight into the pitch. And what I realized was at that point, I was just, you know, features, 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 right? But I never looked at like, how is this going to benefit you, whether from a financial standpoint, because you're saving money or, just having a better speed. I was never focused on like, is this what the customer needs? It was just more so like, I'm going to push my product. Everybody's the right fit. Right. And that's what I, sort of classify as like pressure selling, like not figure say actually sitting down and seeing if this is something the person wants, just, pushing my product, down their throat and get him to buy. And if they don't buy, just go next person.
Hmm. Yeah, I kind of relate to that a lot when it comes to myself, because I did door to door as well for like 9, 10 months.
Hmm.
And you know it as well. Like you get that like weird feeling. in your stomach when you're like, this person, like, either one, won't benefit from this, or two, isn't the right fit. And there's two
Hmm.
types of salesmen in that scenario, right? There's the one type that gives salesmen the bad rep who sells anyways. And then there's the
Hmm.
other type of salesman that says, you know what? I'm just going to disqualify this person because even if I sold to them, they're going to turn around in 4 months and say, hey, can I have my money back?
Yeah, for sure. And for me, like when someone, they didn't meet my product, they didn't meet my service, I'd be like, hey, you know what? I'll be completely honest, I don't feel like you need this. And sometimes it would actually benefit me. They're like, wait, you're not pushing this to me. And sometimes, did actually end up buying it, even though they're going to be a higher price, or they referred me a couple months down the line to someone else who needed it because I left a good taste in their mouth.
Yeah. Yeah, like I can give you a great example from even last night. I was talking to a large firm that does like 600K a month, and
Hmm.
the product that they were selling was $100 cheaper than what we charge for it at our firm. And I turned around to him and I said, well, sounds like you're already getting a great deal. Why are we even talking? Like, it sounds like I shouldn't even be selling to you.
Hmm.
And he said, well,
Yeah.
I'm getting a great deal, but where you guys can help me the most is just having that consistency because I don't have that great deal consistently. It's like, oh, so you have clients that want the product, but you're waiting for your other supplier. That's why you're looking for another one.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then I said, well, I mean, how can we help?
Yeah. And that's like the biggest mindset shift that I had in sales, where it's like people don't buy for your reasons, people buy for their reasons.
Exactly.
Um, and you're just here to help them connect the dots
Exactly.
because you know your product best, you know how it can possibly help them the most. And if you know it can help them, then that's when in a nice way, not, pressuring them, but in a nice way, just guide them towards the path, towards the light.
Yes. Yeah, there's like only four reasons that they would ever even consider getting something. Whether it's they're in current pain, they're in current pleasure, or they want to avoid future pain, or they want future pleasure. Those are the
Hmm.
if we break it down, one, two, three, four, and if you sell based on, let's say this person wants number one and you sell based on three, it's not happening. You
Yeah.
didn't. What was that like for you? Like learning some new ways of thinking, ways of selling when it comes to AST? Because it sounds like we had an impact on the way that you sell, I suppose, sell and the way that you approach sales overall.
Yeah, I mean, super huge impact. For the biggest thing I learned from AST, or one of the biggest thing and skills, was just active listening. It's really listening to a person and just digging deeper into the situation and figuring out, what the root cause is and what they're really looking for. And once you figure that out, if it checks all the boxes that, this is someone that we can help, and at that point, that's when you really try to help a person. It was never like, you know, no matter what product you have, no matter what service you have, you got to sell this person. It was just more so like I shifted from the mindset of like I gotta sell everybody to like I'm gonna disqualify anyone who doesn't fit, you know, our checklist when it comes to an ideal prospect.
Mm, okay. And how did you practice that? Like, how did you put that all into practice? Like, what did you do in AST that made such an impact? Because to me, on a surface level, that sounds like a simple switch, but like,
Mhm.
what did you do there at the process with working with AST to have?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that ASD really helped me with was just repetition. And that was through repeatedly hopping on mock calls with different members in ASD, whether they be newer than me or a lot more experienced than me. And also another huge part was attending the ASD weekly meetings on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I remember hopping on the first time and I was just nervous as shit because I didn't know, what the schedule was. And I just, all of a sudden I'm in a huddle room and David's like, all right, you're gonna play the salesman. I'm just like, that's my first time ever objection handling, and I was just so nervous. I was so lost. But like it was a good type of nervous. Like it's something that helped me grow. And like because I felt like a little bit of humility, it like really stuck with me when it came to like how do we handle, that certain objection.
Mm, mm. Yeah, because like most people, even if they are good at sales, right, they don't actively practice it. And
Hmm.
the way I like to explain the scrimmage, especially for new people, is whenever a castle was under siege and they had the castle surrounded with men, for the 2 or 3 weeks that there's no fighting, those men outside are still practicing with each other, fighting, like actively trying to get to keep their strength. Because like imagine if they just didn't do anything for 2 to 3 weeks, they would naturally get worse. They would
Hmm.
naturally get worse at communicating. They would naturally get worse at overcoming objections. Similarly to sales, because the way I see business is war. And if you really want to understand how to win war, you should definitely read the book Art of War. Speaking of which, Ammar is head of our book club as well. He's been doing that every Friday for the past couple of weeks. How have you found that as well?
Pretty good. We started with a book that you recommended, something that you changed your life, and I can definitely see how it did change your life with the advice that Trevor Blake gives. It's called Three Simple Steps. And it's just a really good book. We cover step one, which is all about mentality. And a lot of the stuff he said just reinforced what I already knew, but there's also some new things that, just really impacted like how I thought. Like for one thing that he mentioned is a little bit of a smaller piece, but it was just like before you even speak, just wait 3 seconds, right? And then you might second guess yourself, like, okay, what I was about to say was going to be impulsive, and it might have ruined the relationship or person I was going to talk to. So just waiting 3 seconds before you actually speak, it gives you like a second chance to like see if this is something you want to say.
There's also so much power in that silence as well. Because if you're able to have breaks in conversation, breaks in your words without saying him, it makes you sound more confident, one, but also two, as Ammar said, you don't fall into the trap of saying something impulsive or saying the wrong thing. Just like snapping on him, be like saying the wrong thing, which could ruin a relationship, but also the mentality side of it, because some people go into manifestation and meditation, but their mentality isn't there and they're manifesting bad things in their life
Hmm.
because you are who you think about all the time. And so if you think about bad things happening, what's going to happen?
Bad things.
Bad things, but why? Because you're thinking about that all the time, you're naturally going to do things that make that happen. Here's a great analogy, right? If you thought that your girl was about to break up with you, you thought, for the last couple of weeks, she's gonna break up with me, she hates me, all this X, Y, Z. She could love you, right? She could be
Hmm.
adoring you. However, well, if you're thinking that, you're naturally going to do things that push her away.
100%.
You're not going to go for that dinner. You're not going to try to continually chase her. You're going to be snappy with your answers. You're going to go out with the boys and not invite her. All these small things. And then when it happens, you're like, ha, I knew it was going to happen. But why? Because you're thinking about it all the time. Because
Yeah.
negativity does expand and it just trickles like it's like a ball going down the hill. It just gets quicker and quicker the more you talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
100%. Mentality is a huge thing, a very, very, very big thing that people just overlook before approaching anything. Um, and something that I started doing a little while ago, and also, whoever joined the book club, we also set like an action step so that we're not only reading a book, but we're actually implementing in our lives, where it's like we're writing down our goals, right? What our ultimate goal is, and we're breaking that down into, what that looks as in a 5-year plan, in a 1-year plan, in a 6-month plan, and just really just bringing it all the way down to like one day. Like, what steps do I need to take every single day in order to implement it? And then we're pairing that with actually journaling so that every single day at the end of the day, did I do everything that I say I was going to do? Was I intentional with my day? And by reflecting on it and, giving ourselves a score out of 10 on whether we did it or not, I know for a fact that whoever is going to do that is going to, grow up 10 times faster than someone who's walking down blindly.
They're being super intentional in that regard, super intentional. They're creating their own reality.
Hmm.
From your perspective, would like because this is a commonality, right, from these interviews I've taken, the mindset switch that has allowed people to earn more has been something that people have mentioned on these AST calls. Would you say that's a strong point of AST? And if so, why? Like, what do we do on a daily basis with it to make sure the mentality is on check?
Yeah, 100%. Mentality is one thing that we really focus on in AST. And if I had to, sum it up in one word, is accountability. Everybody's holding everyone accountable, whether it be through predictive programming, whether it be to the mock channel chat, and even
What's predictive programming?
predictive programming is basically a channel where every single day we're being intentional with our day. Mentioning what we're gonna do today, what we're grateful for. That's another thing that was very prominent in Three Simple Steps, where it's like replace all those negative thoughts with positive thoughts, positive affirmations, saying what you're grateful for. And in the beginning, a year ago, I thought that was dumb. Hearing about things like manifestation, I thought it was cringe. But that was basically because, I was in the wrong circle. I was with people who always thought negative. Who were always like, oh, we're just gonna work a 9 to 5. We're gonna, retire at 65. But when I started hanging out with people who were in that entrepreneurship, who wanted to retire early, had these huge plans, and something they were doing was just also manifesting, having positive affirmations. And I started doing it myself, and then I started seeing some of the results of it too, becoming a lot more successful than I was a year ago.
Yeah, yeah, because like the I would say that is one of the strong points because that accountability. And it's a fact that you're 86% more likely to get something done if you know other people are holding you accountable, one, but also seeing your intentions. And that's why
Yeah,
it's like, hey, at the end of the day, if you didn't do this, what you said you're doing the channel, why? Like, what's going on there? Like, even
yeah,
one of our members flew all the way from Portugal to Ireland to give us his book. And this in Viking literally means create your own reality.
100%.
That was not that was not like intentional by us to choose that. We found that out like a year after we chose the logo. And I don't believe in coincidences because that's like the main thing we've been telling the guys. Create your own reality. There's two people that exist in this world. Let's say they both walk outside. One of them's feeling bad, one of them's feeling fantastic. One of them notices the puddle on the floor, then they notice the alleyway, they notice the homeless person. The person who's feeling happy is saying, hey, there's a blue sky. I'm grateful that I'm able to go out today. I'm grateful that I have food. I'm grateful to have shelter. And that's two different realities, all based on perception. So you're definitely correct with that. Like, I suppose I'm glad that we spoke a lot about mindset on this call. What has that kind of like resulted in earnings wise for you after switching from Dublin or after switching from HVAC into remote sales? Like, what kind of results have you been seeing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I had the mentality that I was going to make this work no matter what. And, starting off in remote sales, most people, I had that first or second offer that, wasn't really proven, didn't really have like an OT that was solid. And it's just more so for gaining experience, going through the reps. And I feel like it's a canon event for pretty much everyone to just go through. But once I had gotten past that, 3, 4 months into like actually working in remote sales, that's when I landed on like my first proper role, right? I was working as a setter, and long story short, within 2.5 weeks, I was able to hit 7K.
In 2.5 weeks?
Yep.
Damn. All based on changing vehicle.
hmm
Like,
And it was like the most money I've seen in my life. And like I felt completely different. And it's like once you hit a certain achievement, you're just like, this is possible. And you just go for the next goal, right? And now my next goal is I want to hit 10K. And then when I hit 15, I'm going to hit 20. I'm going to keep going until, the sky's the limit.
can I challenge you on one thing you said though?
hmm
You said the next thing I want to do is get to 10K. If you ever say I want, you're naturally telling yourself you can't have. And I've been pushing this on the YouTube channel
Yeah.
every time because it's the truth. If you're already making 10K a month, what would be the decisions you would make of somebody who's doing 10K a month? Would they be a closer? Would they be running their own deals? Would they be running their own teams? So like, are you okay with being challenged on this, by the way, with your thought process and the way you said things? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, for sure.
I would switch it from I want to I already am.
Okay.
Already at 10K a month. Like physically, like I think you're on track to do what, 8K this month?
Yeah. This month, 8K. Next month,
Why not
definitely
10K?
10K.
Why not
What's
10K?
that?
Why not 10K this month?
That's a good question. It was just matter of fact, like I was just looking at statistics, and also I started this offer a week into the month. So that's why I was just like, okay,
So,
8K.
so like in 3 weeks you'll do 8K.
Yeah,
Why not 10?
that's a
Why
great question. I like that. No,
not double
100%.
down? Why not double
I
down?
can
You need to
def
have a whiteboard. We have a whiteboard with the days clocking down and then the revenue with it. So like we're slightly behind on the team, but I know we have a deal coming in today that's going to put us ahead of the timeline. And that's how you keep yourself accountable. It's like, where are those deals? Where's that deal? How do I get? I'm at 10K. I'm sweating that I'm off track. I made 10K a
yeah,
month. I'm off track this month. What's going on? I need to get back on track. How do I get back on track? Boom. And that's good to hear. Like apart from monetary goals, like what else would you say is like the future outlook for Ammar? Like Ammar Khan in 6, 12 months, like who is he? What is he doing?
yeah, 100%. In 6 to 12 months, I definitely see myself as becoming a closer. And I know for a fact that I will be hitting at least 25K a month as a closer. Um, and besides, monetary and, professional goals, I want to travel a lot more. I'm actually gonna be traveling for the first time literally next week,
Oh yeah, really?
to another province. We call them provinces, called Calgary. Hopefully gonna meet with one of the AST members, Lucio. Shout out Lucio.
Sick.
Uh, and this is something that I wouldn't have been able to achieve if I didn't take that leap of faith and hop into remote sales and join AST as well.
Fuck yeah. And you met Lucio through AST as well.
Yeah, for sure. I met Lucio through AST. I know Ahmed's back, so I'm going to be visiting him very soon. And then I made myself a clear goal that by the end of this year, I will be flying over to Europe and meeting with you guys too, hopefully for the mastermind event.
Hey, why not in October? Why not in October? We're hosting an event. We're gonna have more details on that on Instagram come Monday. But yeah, some great goals. Like why not? Why not be in Europe in October time? So yeah, Amar, apart from that, I really like the conversation today. I'm glad that we just didn't talk about numbers. We talked about hey, you transitioning from your old self, creating the new self, and then as a result, you upgrade the amount you can earn. And then you're continuing doing this, right? We're as humans, we want to always be improving and always climbing in some form of ladder. So it's good that
Yeah,
you have aspirations to do more. You're not just saying, hey, I'm kind of happy in this role and happy to stay in it. Because that'd be the worst case scenario for us if somebody's just complacent. You shouldn't
yeah,
be. You should be humble based on the results and timeline, but you should be impatient with action, patient with
100%.
results, patient with action. So, Amar, I really appreciate you hopping on today. Before we go, if let's say there was somebody listening to this, they haven't joined Affinity, they haven't really got into sales yet, like what would be the one key piece of advice that you would say to them? Doesn't
Yeah,
even need to join AST, but like what would be that one advice for them?
for sure. And before I, give that advice, just to preface it, if you notice during this entire call, we didn't really talk about, sales and like how I'm doing X, Y, and Z within sales. Sales is actually just a lifestyle. It's everything that you do outside of sales that actually really impacts your performance within sales. Whether it's
Mhm.
going to the gym, waking up early, meditating, holding yourself accountable, doing things like that. And AST is the number one place where you're going to be held accountable, whether it's within sales or outside of sales. Overall, as a person, you're going to become better, and it's just going to accelerate your growth within remote sales and just make you an overall better person.
Love it. Love it. Appreciate the words today, Amar. Appreciate the time as well. If you guys are looking to join ASD, you'll see Amar every Friday telling you why didn't you read the book that you said you would do. And Amar, we'll love you and leave you. I really appreciate you hopping on today. And yeah, until next time.
Of course. Ciao,
Sounds
Warren.
good. See you guys later. Ciao,
See ya.
ciao.